I got me a new hottie though too though. I don't care how hot it is outside. I got me a new hottie, and you're gonna love her name. You ever seen Friday?
Yeah.
Good, because I can't wait for us to break up, so I can just say bye, Felicia. That's her fucking name too. I can't wait.
I hope she ain't never got a set of nothing in her house.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be the whole relationship. It's just me making Friday references.
Friday quotes. How you get
You know,
fired?
how
you get fired on your day off?
on your day off. What are you stealing boxes? What are you building a clubhouse? You're gonna cry in the car. He's gonna cry in the car.
Don't go in there for about another 35, 45 minutes.
You know, one of the best. You know, one of the best
our date. That's our whole date's gonna be. We're gonna find some place to go park and watch this Friday all the time.
You know, one of the best. You really got to look for it. Jokes in that movie is when Craig's girlfriend is yelling at him because she thought he was cheating on her. You know, and she's yelling at him on the phone, and she's in her bedroom. There's a dude in her bed.
Yeah.
But you really got to pay attention because they don't have him move around or anything. He's just sleeping, you know. But it's like I saw somebody said you were with Shaniqua at the show or whatever. And it's like there's a dude laying in her bed. It's one of the funniest, like, subtle jokes ever in a movie. But I love he's gonna cry in the car.
Boop boop.
Boop boop. My grandma must change. My grandma must change. What's up, big perm? I mean, big worm.
Well, this girl's a real fucking gem on it, I'll tell you that.
All right, this one's for Felicia. This week on Reliving the Extreme, we're back after the calamity of weather we had here in Ohio last week. First, it was no electricity. Then it was no internet. Then it was no electricity again. Then it was no internet again. And we just threw in the fucking towel and had to tell Chad, sorry, us Ohio boys are up the fucking river. But we're back this week, reviewing the episode of ECW TV from March the 25th, 1997. And it's like we never left.
96?
97. 97 is the new 96.
And we're only in March.
Well, it's gonna get a little better, but they're just kind of set in their. I want to say they're kind of set where they need to be now because they're like they have that pay-per-view, so they gotta stick with what they're doing. But I'll say something more about it once you tell us how the show opens.
Yes, we open up with the and Aaron, you didn't get to elaborate on the show the last time because you weren't able to be with us on the last episode.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right, but we begin this show with what was the worst part of last week's show that Chad and I discussed, because most of last week's show was actually pretty decent, but this convoluted shit in the middle with Shane Douglas and Pitbull #1 and the I Quit scenario was all pretty stupid.
Yeah, but guess what about this show? No Shane Douglas.
This is true.
No Tommy Dreamer.
No, we get some Dreamer on this show.
Well, no Brian Lee.
We don't get any dramatic Tommy Dreamer though. But yeah, the I Quit stuff from last week airs, and then we get the Pitbulls with Rick Rude cutting their promo.
I was just gonna say like about showing that because we recorded not Nate, you and I recorded the last episode we did, didn't we?
Of Reliving the Extreme?
Yeah.
No, that was me and Chad.
See, that's how fucking much they're repeating this thing. Like I was like, I remember watching this, but I can't remember if we talked about it or if it was the show that I watched and I didn't remember. It's just the Pitbull Shane Douglas feud started out cool, but it's just wash, rinse, repeat. It's like, how many times are you gonna break this fucking guy's neck?
We said that anymore. We said that last week too. It's like, oh look, Gary Wolf got his neck broken again.
It's like break something else. Break his foot. Break his ankle. something.
No, because
Jesus
they'll just keep re-breaking every part of his body for another 10, 20 years.
They need to get Kurt Angle to come in and give this guy a pep talk. Look, I won an Olympic medal with a broken freaking neck.
Yeah.
You can't even win a TV title.
Every time Shane Douglas breaks this guy's neck, the video should be to that Sarah McLachlan song.
The one from the abandoned pet commercials.
Yeah, the abused pets.
In the arms of
Look
an
at this
angel.
poor dog. Yeah, for $1 a day, you can help this poor pit bull.
That's like $30 a month.
He's just sitting there with his sad eyes, cutting his shitty promo.
He's got
Arms of an angel plays behind it.
Get Sally Struthers for the price of a cup of coffee.
You can help this poor pit bull.
This poor bastard.
Every limb is in a cast, and he's got the microphone stand on one of his arm casts. You know what I mean? It holds it up. It's attached to his hip and shit. Like, he's just a big bandage. But the only thing that's not bandages is his hair.
He's associated with that charity that buys all the potatoes. That all they're giving people is potatoes. I was always like, that's a nice idea, I guess, because you're feeding people. But even the people that need the food are like, oh my god, potatoes again.
More potatoes.
It's like Bubba Gump with the shrimp. You know, they're like, we got potato soup,
right.
We got potato salad,
we got a gratin potato,
we got mashed potatoes,
French fried potatoes.
Nate, you're married. Explain to me if this has ever happened to you. I saw a video where husband and wife were shopping, and they were shopping for potatoes, and the wife had the bag sitting on top of the potato where our potato bin is, and she kept putting potatoes in. And every time the guy would put a potato in, she would take it out and throw it to the side. So he started taking the potatoes out of the bag that she put in. And then when he would like pull it out of the bag and show it to her, she'd throw it to the side. That
doesn't happen to me with potatoes, but it definitely happens. I am not allowed to pick out a fucking loaf of bread. Every time I buy bread, she's like, I wish you would have just let me buy the bread. I don't know what the fuck it is. But no, that is something in marriage. Like there's always some food that I just let her. I'm like, yeah, fine. You pick out the fucking bread. And then when we're out of bread, she says, I can't believe we're out of bread. I wanted to make a sandwich. I'm like, you should have bought fucking bread.
Hey, got once baked potatoes, twice baked potatoes.
I can't even go shopping for paper plates for my mom anymore. I've gotten to the point where everything that I come back with, something's wrong with it. It's because it's the wrong size. It don't have the decorative flowers that are on the rim or the edge of the paper plate. It ain't the fancy ones. When it was the only one they had left, the only paper plate they had left was that one stack, and I told her that coming back, and it was wrong. So I just said, you know what? I ain't going to the store. I can't get milk. I'm gonna bring the cow back here. If we want milk, it's outside. Go get it.
But yeah, I don't. Aaron, I know you weren't around, or you weren't on last week, so when I said Don Jardine, it's because whenever Rick Rude is in that mask and his sweaters, he reminds me of when the one time Don Jardine as the spoiler was on TNT with Vince McMahon. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's Rick Rude and the Pit Bulls, and like these guys were talking about, here Gary Wolf's in a fucking neck brace again. His neck's broken again.
Yeah, and the main thing I got from this was, I don't know if you guys know it, but I'm thinking this masked man wants to fuck Francine. I mean, he's a little subtle with it.
He wants to show her his Jardine.
his can of Jardines. Yeah, that masked man does have a thing for Francine though, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He said he wants to flip her over and do all kinds of. It's like, oh goodness gracious!
Yeah,
buddy.
I think he said he'd be rolling her over. She wouldn't be playing dead or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Joey gives us an intro to the show, and he announces that at Barely Legal, Shane Douglas will defend against Pitbull number 2. If Pitbull loses, then the Masked Man will reveal his identity.
Why? Why do we need this? It's so stupid.
Rick Rude was the original. Rick Rude was the original El Grande Americano.
Yeah, definitely.
or Mr. America.
Dude, I would just. I mean, does he actually do it? He doesn't. He does it right. He takes his mask off, right?
Eventually, yeah, because I guess I shouldn't have said he was the original because you got to go back to the Midnight Rider and fucking
and Mr. R.
and what
Dude,
was
that would've been-
what was
That would be great if he would have taken his mask off and it was Bob Armstrong.
what was JYD? What was JYD? Why am I blanking on?
Stagger Lee.
Stagger Lee. Yeah, that's it. Stagger Lee. But
Well,
anyway,
the giant machine. Like all the mask, like the only mask guys that ever like got away with it was like the Masked Superstar and Wrestling 2. All the other people you knew who they were.
My favorite machine was Piper Machine. Like they didn't even try. That's Piper Machine right there.
Why wasn't there a soda machine?
Pat Patterson could have been the cigarette machine.
Yeah, the girl that makes the fucking outfits at the sewing machine. She's just sitting back there making costumes with a mask on.
This is a whole promotion. The Machine Wrestling Federation.
Hey,
they should have had the vending machine, and he could have sold like snacks as he went to the ring.
Yeah, mass transit.
It's eating the snacks.
the whole well, they do call it WWE the machine. It just keeps plugging along. So there you go. Throw a mask on it. And like when they show that, remember the old logo of the WWF where it said the worldwide leader in sports entertainment? All of a sudden when that flashes, you just see somebody throw a mask over top of it. It's the WWF machine.
the worldwide leader in masked entertainment.
That sounds pretty cool though. I like that.
Then I wrote down here on my notes, I just wrote down Terry Funk Banquet. So they had some kind of a banquet for Terry Funk.
It's that Terry Funk banquet. There's footage of it. It's that one where they did like a tribute to him, and there's footage of it on Beyond the Mat. It's at the thing where
oh, okay.
New Jack says I love Terry Funk. I don't want to fuck him, but I love him. Yeah. But if you go to this banquet, it's $50, all right, to get in the door, unless you already have a ticket for barely legal. Then it's half price. So even if you already bought a ticket, you still got to pay $25. And this $50 includes a dinner, which I'm assuming is potatoes, a meet and greet, photo ops, and special surprises. I don't know what that is. I don't know if they're bringing out the variety kids.
The special surprises is pretty much anybody that shows up. Yeah, it's any of the boys whose checks didn't bounce that show up.
Yeah. Special surprise. It's gonna be like we got fucking Chris Michaels doing his goofy or his Bullwinkle impersonation.
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. It's Sal Balomo on a unicycle.
100 Q Robbins.
Yeah. His is a pre-tape. He couldn't make it, but we're gonna roll out this. It'd be like when you got a substitute teacher and she rolls out the VHS thing on the TV. It's like, all right, we're not gonna do anything today. But yeah, that's what it is. Dinner, meet and greet, photo ops, special surprises, $50, and you get to watch the Terry Funk tribute banquet.
So you get to eat a Big Mac with Terry Funk. Big fucking deal.
I'm guessing they had the shitty like banquet catered spread with like the dry ass chicken.
Yeah, tinfoil and those in those tin things, and it's got those little heating things underneath.
Yeah.
Dude, you're thinking it. You're way overthinking this. No chance he did any of it. No way, dude. It was probably a veggie tray. I'm serious. Or it's probably whatever snacks whoever was going that was part of the boys that were all staying at the hotel. They were all told to grab something from the complimentary continental breakfast. A bagel. That's all it was. There's no chance that they spent any money for this. Because who the hell is going that hasn't already met Funk. Because anybody who was going that's an ECW fan and has ever been to the ECW arena has already been to the hotel they all stay at, and they all know that all the boys hang out in the lobby. So you're going to meet them anyway. So there's nobody paying for that. There's no chance.
Or
But
dinner
it,
dinner is as you go in, they have a collection and they're going to go out and get pizza with everybody, whatever anybody can spare. We'll order pizza with whatever we collect.
Some money in there. We'll get some Mr. Gaddy's or something. I don't know if they have Mr. Gaddy's in Philadelphia or not.
That was Paul's fucking big speech before the show, just letting everybody know about. He was talking about the banquet, and he was like, "Just so you all know that you're all doing this show for nothing because it's for Terry Funk. Just to let them know ahead of time that you're not getting paid for this. You can either get paid or Funk can eat." I'd be kind of hungry.
Funk.
Honestly.
The first matchup we get on the show here is Terry Funk versus Axel Rotten,
who was originally one of his few good men.
Yeah. It's clipped up. It's all clipped up. The only thing I really got is they brawl all over the building and Terry Funk hits Axel Rotten with Windex.
Yeah, glass cleaner. No, glass cleaner it was called.
Yeah, glass cleaner. And Joey tries to be like, "Oh, that's gonna burn in those cuts." He tries, but yeah, it is what it is. And Funk goes for his Funk spinning toe hold, but Axel turns it into a small package. But Funk kicks out. Then he hits him with a DDT. 1, 2, 3, and Terry Funk's your winner.
Axel ain't turning anything into a small package. It's at least a large package.
Speaking of Terry Funk and a Big Mac.
Did you see what Axel Rotten did to Terry Funk? He put him in a Big Mac.
After the match, the Dudley Boys hit the ring and attack Terry Funk. Brian Lee's out here as well. And then Tommy Dreamer and Sandman come out to save Terry Funk.
Doesn't work.
Huh?
I said it doesn't really work.
It doesn't work. Terry Funk accidentally in the melee winds up punching Sandman, and Dreamer gets in between because he's got to be the mediator to get this back in control. Because as Chad and I discussed last week, of course we couldn't have Terry Funk win something big to get into the qualifying match for the world championship.
We got to put upon Tommy.
Tommy Dreamer had to surrender to offer up his match to Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Because he's so he's so put upon and so
so put upon. Tommy Dreamer's not only thing he's put upon is he's put upon some food. That's the only thing. Fuck Tommy Dreamer.
Put upon a few pounds.
Yeah, some great put upon.
I the past maybe month and a half, I've been actually back into, for the first time in a long time, I'm actually watching TNA. And couple of weeks ago, I hadn't seen him in a while. And he showed up on the show to do some kind of shit with somebody. And I was like, Jesus Christ, he looks disgusting.
He's their booker.
He looks so floppy and gross.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's their booker now.
Yeah, he's one of them. Yeah, they had to ruin my day today by finally announcing that Busted Open is going to be a channel now, 24 hours a day on Sirius Radio. And then at the end of the show, Dave has to go, yeah, we're going to have all the same people. It's going to be Tommy. And I was like, oh, he's going to get his own show. Thunder Rosa. Oh, she can't speak English. Nick Nemeth. Oh, he don't even like wrestling. Like none of the people that host the fucking show are even like wrestling or any good. So I'm like, what the fuck? I love the idea of 24-hour Busted Open, but not with Tommy Dreamer doing anything with it. Fuck.
But then the Eliminators, they come out.
Yes.
And they kind of even up the score. and run everybody out of the ring, and then Raven watches from the crowd about everything that's going on. And whatever building they were in was really weird looking. I
Yeah,
don't
what
know what
was
that
this?
building was, but it was just
Yep.
weird.
I don't know if they said what where the building even was or anything.
They didn't.
No, they
They
didn't.
didn't. It was just weird looking.
Yeah, I have
And
no idea where it was either.
once again, Raven gets to watch everybody else beat each other up, and he just gets to sit there and watch it happen.
Right.
We get a promo then from Terry Funk. Kind of doing the greatest hits kind of thing here. You know, you get to a certain point headed toward the pay-per-view where you've pretty much said all you can say. If I remember correctly in this promo, it was pretty much cookie cutter, him wanting to beat Raven or win the triple threat, beat Raven, and then be the ECW champion.
Yeah.
But he had to remember something he said, didn't he? During the promo, like I think.
Well, he said he was like he made a bunch of different like Texas type references, and I'm a bucking Bronco riding whatever, doing that whole thing, and he was like, I used to say that all the time, and I had a hard time remembering it, but I did. And like they kind of said he kind of did what you kind of said he did, where he was like, I don't know how many more ways I can say that I'm gonna beat this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was almost how he was getting at the promo. It's like I just remember this because I keep repeating myself, basically, and it's like I'm going to kick this guy's ass. Like if I win this 3-way dance, I'm going to beat you, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean it was a good promo.
Yeah, never heard a bad Terry Funk promo, so you know it was good.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Then we get a video highlighting the BWO and Big Stevie Cool, who is also part of that triple threat match at Barely Legal. They show us. It's funny.
All right, what song do they come out to?
I don't remember what actual song they came out to. Aaron, do you remember?
As far as from everything I remember, even watching it back in the day, that BWO theme that plays on there is what they came out to. That if I remember right, that's the BWO theme.
So it was already original music?
Yeah, it was just that riff. If I remember right.
Or maybe we watched too much Peacock. It just became like what it is, right?
But yeah, if they did come out to a different song, I don't know. I don't even remember what it would have been, to be honest with you. But yeah, they show the BWO video, and then it's funny, my notes, because they show us the footage from the match between Sandman and Balls Mahoney that we watched last week. My notes are funny, though, because it looks like I wrote Sandman's balls from last week.
Ew.
Like, oh God, I don't remember that being on the show. But anyway, no, it was last week. It was Sandman and Balls Mahoney, and they
Imagine
had
that. If what you see is like that, imagine what you can't see looks like. Jesus.
Yeah, thank God
Oh,
Balls
yeah.
wears them black spandex underneath them fucking ripped up pants.
I can't imagine what either one of their shit looks like. It's all gig marked up. Looks like Abdullah's forehead.
He got gig marks on his nutsack.
Yeah.
That sounds like an album title.
Balls doing the thing like from the movie Waiting, the wombat.
It's like,
I don't even know
Balls
if you got my reference, but
I got it. The Balls is probably just mounds and mounds of hair, I would think.
Yeah, there's no chance that Balls Mahoney is grooming that shit.
Yeah.
No chance. Oof.
Okay. Well, then they show us footage from another Sandman versus Balls Mahoney match here.
Is that why I have it written down twice? Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't write it down twice.
It's just the last match they had.
Sandman's balls.
Yeah, it's just the last match they had.
What? I mean, did it do anything? Because they didn't do anything like in the first clip that they showed. Really?
No, they didn't do anything except hit each other with the chairs and the cane, and then Balls went for his leg drop. Sandman moved, hit him, and then rolled Balls up with the schoolboy and pinned him. That was it.
All kidding aside, man, I remember Balls could actually work.
Oh, Balls
Like,
was a great wrestler. I
like
thought. I mean,
I don't think that him and Axel have started getting like fucked up like at least that bad yet. But I mean, he should still be able to work because I mean he did some spots like he had a leg drop was decent.
oh yeah, he got a lot of distance on it, and like when he was in Smoky Mountain and was working with Chris Candido and he was Boo Bradley and all that, yeah, he was really good. And I don't know. Later
Yeah,
on, the character and the gimmick they wanted him to do or whatever wasn't supposed to be a fucking
a good
excellent
worker.
worker or whatever. But yeah, but when he needed to be, he could work.
Well, I don't think the character necessarily had to be a bad worker. I mean, sure, he had to be like a brawler and stuff, but I mean, anybody that could brawl could still do spots. I think. I mean, he just it ain't until like I said, he's still okay now. So it's not till he starts getting all fucked up that it's all he does is just get hit with chairs and like that kind of shit. Like that's later on down the line, or at least later on this year.
And if you watch it like later, like before he passed away or whatever, he started looking like really rough. Looked like he was like looked like a big lady outside of a Circle K.
Trying to put air in her fucking bicycle tire.
Trying to ask you for money, and you're like, I don't have anything, and then they're looking at you buying a fucking burrito and a soda. Be like, sorry.
Trying to be a Circle K, huh?
But yeah, like Aaron said, Balls misses a leg drop here. Oh, I did put. I guess one note I did put was Sandman's cane breaks over Ball's back the first time or not the first time he hits him with the cane, but one of the swings he takes at him, he actually breaks the cane in half. This is just like the match from last week. We talked about it last week. It's just these two getting to just whack the shit out of each other with chairs and canes, and then one of them gets the win.
Whacking balls.
Whacking balls. Hacking balls.
Hacking balls.
Hacking balls.
Good Lord. That's the name of the show,
Wish Stu Sachs would have interviewed Balls Mahoney.
huh? God damn.
Sachs interviews Balls.
Who do you think came up with Balls Mahoney? Was it Paul or was it Boo Bradley? Like, do you think he came up with Balls Mahoney, or do you think it was Paul Heyman?
You know, I think I remember. Good God, now you put me on the spot because I remember I was told the whole story, and now I gotta fucking remember this shit. I want to think it's based on a character, but I can't remember where the character was from. But I think it was Paul's idea of the character, and I'm pretty sure I think it was Paul. Honestly, came up with
It's a great idea. It's like that's just the idea of like you would be like that name. It's like they're gonna chant Balls. You know what I mean? Like this crowd is going to love a guy named Balls. It was custom made for ECW. As I was watching, I was like, I can't. Like I said, I wouldn't know, but I always just wonder, like, did he come up with that? Because whoever came up with that name and having him being from Nutley, New Jersey, you know, that's good shit.
That's good shit.
Speaking of name, I think I already told Aaron this story.
The what?
I think I already told Aaron this story, but I was going to tell you, Chad. It's just a little kind of an anecdote. But I'm reading that book, The Six Pack, currently, and one of the chapters on there, the author actually seeks out and does like an interview and like spends like a couple of days with Tony Atlas, who, by the way, told him Tony Atlas told him, I don't work for free. And the guy was like, well, as a biographer, as a journalist, I'm not actually allowed to pay the person I'm doing the story on. That's part of journalism. I can't pay you. And Tony said, well, then you don't got to waste your time coming to see me. And he said, all right, I'll pay you. And he said, I just have to disclose it in the book. So I'm disclosing it in the book. But anyway, he was talking to Tony about him where he grew up and everything. And Tony said that when he was growing up, his nickname was Argo. And then the guy's asking him, "Tell me the story. How'd you get the nickname Argo?" And he said, "Well, whenever anybody would be causing trouble around the neighborhood or somebody had to be dealt with, I'd tell him Argo." So he got his nickname Argo because when he says "I'll go," it sounds like he's saying Argo. But anyway, I just thought that was a fun little anecdote. I've heard a lot of Tony Atlas stories, and I didn't know that, so I thought that was fun.
You thought it was a funny Tony Atlas story, and we still have a half an hour to kill?
Yeah, I'm trying here.
Good thing you didn't put your foot in your mouth.
Hey-o. All right, let's sort of simmer on to this next.
What next? There ain't no next.
We get a recap of the Dudley Boys winning the ECW tag team titles from the Eliminators, and then the Eliminators, well, Perry Saturn anyway, cuts a promo about him and John Cronus going to school together, and they'd show up and they'd have their beaten up clothes and whatever. From the Salvation Army. And they got made fun of about being welfare babies. And then when the in crowd wanted them to come and hang out, they said they couldn't because they were going to karate class.
They were going to karate.
So then they'd get made fun of for being in karate class. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, this seems legit. Like, I probably would have made fun of you too.
Dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine them two fucking clowns giving some kid on the playground a total elimination in dirty ass Salvation Army clothes?
Yeah.
and
your EBT card fell out, motherfucker.
And then when we got injured, they told us to go see the school nurse, and we said we aren't going to go see the school nurse. We're going to go see the doc. Doc and Gordy.
Doc Gordy.
Dr. Gordy.
Dr. Gordy. Gordy the Doc.
God. I had to get a note from my doc, Gordy. we used to read these books in school. What was his name? Cronus? Doc.
and Gordy. The Adventures of Doc and Gordy.
They have nightmares about Doc and Gordy.
Who were the highlights kids? Doofus and Dandy or whatever?
Goofus and Gallant.
Yeah, and then we read our highlights, and there was Goofus and Gallant. Gallant and Goof.
That almost sounds like that should have been their names. The Eliminators.
And then we turn on MTV, and it's Beavis and Butthead, and Butthead and
Butthead and Beavis.
Now, one note, on a serious note, Aaron, something that I didn't get to say to you last week that Chad and I also discussed. This match that they showed from last week with the Dudleys and Eliminators, where the Dudleys win the titles, I did not expect it because I totally thought the Dudleys won the titles at the pay-per-view. It's weird.
Oh no, they don't.
I don't know. I guess I just blocked. There was a couple of things you didn't get to see last week or talk with me and Chad last week about the end of last week's episode either, where Sabu went all Yokozuna and just started talking gangsta about Taz. You know, you just didn't expect Sabu to just be like, "Get that short motherfucker out." You're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I watched the show. I just got drunk and didn't get home in time to talk about it. But
yeah, that whole thing last week, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Sabu started throwing up gang signs and shit. Like instead of pointing up in the air, he's all MS-13 and that shit.
Yeah. He hits the rope and like Crip walks down it, then jumps off.
Did he say something about 8 Mile?
No, Sabu in Detroit. That would be great if Sabu was in 8 Mile. He breaks the mics. I could rewrite that. That'd be a good one. Doc and Gordy. And on Saturday mornings before karate, we had to watch Tom and Jerry.
And Hong Kong Phooey. Sorry, that one.
And Phooey and Kong.
We could go on all day with this. You want to fill that half hour?
Yeah. What do you
Gotta
think we're
watch
trying to
Fred
do?
and Barney and Barney and Fred.
And
Rocky and Bullwinkle and Bullwinkle and Rocky.
My mom's favorite movie was Thelma and Louise.
And Louise
and Thelma.
And then we had to watch Sanford and Son and Sanford.
Because they were married and they had children. So there was Al and Peg.
Peg and Al.
And they hated Steve and Marcy.
I like
Marcy and Steve.
One of my
Then
favorite.
my mom would get all whatever. I want to watch her chick flicks. And we had to watch Steel Magnolias and Magnolias and Steel.
We were always hoping for happy days, but all we got was Joni and Chachi.
And Chachi and Jody.
Potsy and Ralph.
And then
We had to watch those gay Muppets, Bert and Ernie and Bert.
And then for 30 years, we've had to watch Law and Order and Order and Law.
Order and Law.
Have we fucking beaten this horse dead yet? Or?
No, because their TV was broken, so they had to watch solemn movies of Abbott and Costello.
Speaking of horses, we had to watch Mr. Ed and Mr.
Gee, Wilbur.
Favorite tag team growing up was Randy and Bill. Bill and Randy. Oh, well, we got like 20 more minutes to kill.
Those fucking things glue now.
I'm sure we got some more.
All right, so
we got Ric Flair shitting himself. I mean, we can still kill Tom.
my.
Yeah, we forgot about that. Ric Flair shit himself.
Multiple times, apparently.
Yeah, I've read that, like, there's I don't know if all the comments are real, but people are saying, like, this guy shits himself all over town.
Dude, seriously.
And then he can't just not. Because then he has to come back and say, that's not shit on my pants, it's cum. Hey, Rick, just go home. Go home and have some fucking self-respect for yourself, man.
If that's your cum, you got a bigger problem.
That's the greatest.
If you're shitting out your dick, there's a problem.
That's a colostomy bag, Rick.
Yeah. You got that conjunctivitis or whatever that took Brock out. Like your fucking insides are all fucked up.
He got gingivitis.
Diverticulitis.
That's the greatest poop of all time.
If you're pooping out your dick, there's an issue.
Fuck. Yeah, well, that was only another 2 more minutes.
He looks like, and he's starting to look like that old person that old thing they found. Remember, like when they found like the oldest guy, like in that ice.
The oldest, most well preserved man or whatever.
Yeah, they found that
Ric Flair
thing. That's what he looks like now.
He looks like that thing in a suit that a lady from Florida would wear.
He looks like that thing fucked the saw puppet. And I had Ric Flair.
Good God. Can anybody book him again, you think? Like, seriously?
You know.
If you do, you got to put puppy pads down.
Yeah. I was getting there.
You got to hold him up to his nose so he gets the message. Like, this is where you go.
Woo!
Ric Flair shit go poop on a bitch. There ain't no Ric Flair drip.
So
Ric Flair shit.
They're the only way to save this Ric Flair thing, because I just really wanted Ric Flair to go out as like
just go away,
a statesman like Harley Race or Luthez, just age and go out like a wrestling statesman.
But he can't.
Instead, yeah. I mean, you tell him, even if you tell him to go, if Hunter were to tell him, Rick, we're putting you away for a year. We're putting you on fucking mothballs for a year. We're going to bring you out at next year's Hall of Fame, and you're going to wear a real suit, not one of those fucking clown outfits you wear. No chains. No, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if a year away and then bring him out looking classy again would do it. I don't know. It's kind of
He doesn't
sad.
even work for him right now. He's
No, but I'm saying, I mean, fucking Tony Khan doesn't have the sense to do that.
Oh,
I know, but I wouldn't even.
Tony Khan barely has the sense to dress himself properly, let alone.
I'm just saying, like Ric Flair's, it's over for him. Like you can't repair the image.
Have you seen them little things on Facebook where it has like a celebrity and then somebody next to it, maybe a spouse, and it would say like their age, and then it has like their net worth, that kind of shit where it matches them up. It says like Ric Flair is worth like $5 million. There's no chance he is.
Mm-mm.
It just there's no. It didn't have a date. It didn't have a date next to it. Like when.
I'm pretty sure as a grown ass man, Vince McMahon bailed him out of poverty or out of bankruptcy like at least 2 times in his life.
Yeah, I've heard a couple times.
He's had nobody taking care of him for the past like 6 or 7 years to keep him under control.
Beefy left and he started shitting himself in public. What the hell, man?
The poo is for you.
Woo! It's the poo.
Poo.
very, very simple, but perfect. And sometimes it's a simple joke that works the best. Poo.
I'm strutting and cutting, baby. Poo. The nature boy. I got a gold Rolex, turtle head poking out,
and a diaper.
Shit. All right. Speaking of which, shit. But yeah, I don't know. It's like Flair turned out to be not the statesman that you want him to be. You knew Hogan, even though you didn't know Hogan was going to be dropping the N-bomb all the time, or whatever. You knew he wasn't going to be like a Thez kind of statesman, but I thought at least he'd go out like a cartoony kind of, legend or whatever, and he tarnished his legacy.
This was letting that reality show happen. That fucked him over.
Dude, isn't it fucked up when like one of
his shitty kids,
like one of the only people left out of that whole entire generation that you could take seriously and is credible is Tully Blanchard. Isn't that fucked up? He steals from fucking churches and fucking that kind of shit. But yeah, I mean, at least he ain't fucking pooping his pants and
making an ass of himself and
acting a fool at Denny's.
Like you can't even take Ted. Like for all we love about Ted DiBiase, like he even fucked up. Like he stole embezzled a bunch of money and shit.
See, I was gonna say DiBiase. I was gonna say DiBiase before that crossed my mind too. Out of all them guys out of that generation, I was getting ready to say Ted DiBiase, but then Dan was like, no.
But it's like Tully. It's like Tully, Arn.
Well, Arn's kind of still around.
Yeah, and like Ricky Steamboat, like those guys. But other than that, it's like
at this point, just because of what even though he lived a lot of his life as kind of a piece of shit, at this point, I think honestly, Jake Roberts has recovered himself to be less of an embarrassment than Flair.
Yeah, he's definitely DDP really rewrote that book, didn't he?
Yeah.
He at least shits himself at home.
Like, all right. At this point, I'm almost hoping to bring back like Bill Watts. He's never said anything stupid.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Don't ask him about chicken restaurants
or black people.
And everything's all right.
Don't let him get anywhere near Wade Keller.
My favorite comment of the week from Bill Watts this week was fuck bilingual. That was exactly what he said. Fuck that. If he wants to own a chicken restaurant that he don't want to serve blacks at, then he can own a chicken restaurant where he don't want to serve blacks at. It's his restaurant.
He gave me an idea. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and create a parody fake Bill Watts Twitter page, and it's just gonna be like, "Fuck the bilinguals."
It came out of nowhere too.
Listen, Cats the Bulbous, I'm still here.
I don't even know what I was listening to where they were talking about it, but somebody got a hold of a whole bunch of audio. Somebody was taping Bill Watts like in some meeting, like in WCW or something, and maybe it was like Keller or somebody, but they released all this audio of Bill Watson. Dude, he was just dropping N-bombs and all kinds of shit, dude. He was on fire. And then when they were talking about bilingual, he just said, "Fuck bilingual." I think he thought it was people.
It's like when they released those
bilingual.
LBJ tapes with Lyndon Johnson where he was just talking and he was like talking about his suits and everything. He's like, I need you to cut my pants different, fit them different, down there by my nut sack. Like, and then he's saying just all kinds of different shit. It's like, what the fuck?
Well,
Bill Watts and LBJ.
Make sure you let me know when you create this fake Bill Watts page. Because I'll stay up all night long writing Bill Watts fucking quotes. I'll go back and watch all the Mid-South shows all over again just to write down what he said in the way that I heard him as Bill Watts.
The next thing on this ECW show that we took a long road out into the country there, and now we're back on the highway here. 6-man tag team match, the Michinoku Pro guys, who are going to be having, I believe it's the same guys that are going to be in a 6-man tag team match at Barely Legal.
Crab Boy's hurt. Crab Boy gets hurt, so he ain't going to be there. They replaced him with the guy that's dressed like Peter Pan. I forget the guy's name, but yeah, Crab Boy gets hurt.
Yeah, it's the only 6 guys fucking Michinoku Pro has.
Crab. But it's Taka Michinoku, Terry Boy, and Dick to go.
Dick to go.
Versus the Great Sasuke, Grand Nuwata, and what I have affectionately named Grandpa Hamada. Because I looked up Grandpa Hamada. This dude started in 1972, okay? And it's 1997 here. So he's wrestled for 25 years before he even gets to this point. And I looked up, I was like, when did he retire? He's dead now. Grandpa Hamada's dead. But he retired in 2018.
Is that when he died?
No. He died like a couple years later. I think he died just a couple years ago. But Grandpa Hamada started in 1972 and retired in 2018.
Now I'm actually like envisioning in my head
and I like Grandpa Hamada. Like he's like the best thing in this match. I'm like, how old is this guy right now?
I'm hearing in my head the Japanese ring announcer guy, Grandpa Hamada.
No, it's Joe McHugh. Dude, that they actually had them shows were pretty decent, man. Because I used to get them Universal shows, usually at the end of a tape or whatever. When they would record them like in a studio or something. The ring was as big as the studio, like literally. When you came out from the back, like there was nowhere to walk. There was no crowd. You couldn't walk around the ringside because the ring actually just fit in the TV studio. But those matches them shows were actually pretty good. You can never watch a whole entire show in one sitting though.
There's a on the Legacy of the AWA video or DVD that WWE put out. There's a match on there from like the probably mid 70s. It's Billy Robinson and somebody. You made me think of it because of that. Yeah, Grandpa Hamada. It's Billy Robinson and somebody, and it is. What made me think of it is when you said, Chad, that the ring was as big as the room. The ring during this match, the ring is as big as the room, and the crowd is not a crowd. They are painted on the wall.
Yeah, I seen that. I know what you're talking about. That was
wild.
That was at that studio that they got downgraded to. I think that was in right outside of Milwaukee. I think it was, or right outside of Minnesota or something like that. They were in a bigger studio, and I think the building was getting renovated or something. And they got it was the only place they could rent to do their tapings at, and like literally, like I know what you're talking about. It was just that big.
Yeah.
And I think it was like because I think the AWA still used a 20x20 ring too. So they weren't even. They couldn't. They couldn't even go out and rent a smaller ring.
Yeah, they used a big ass ring.
Yeah, it was a 20x20, man. Yeah. And like as soon as you like you hit the music, like as soon as you hear like on Hogan's theme song or whatever, Like, whoa, a man, he's already in the ring. There's nowhere for him to walk around because he's gonna walk around and touch the painting, slap the painting's hand.
Slap the wall.
Yeah, that's some sad shit. That's where Grandpa Hamada. That's where they used to run their shows at.
And this match, Grandpa Hamada is the best thing about it.
Well,
there is one guy.
He's the guy. He's the catcher. I guarantee he's the guy that put the match together. He's the guy that called everything. Like, I mean, in all seriousness, he was that's why he's the best thing in the match. Yeah.
And then there's like one guy that's like a super big mark for Grand Noana, because like every time Grand Noana tags in, the guy's like, you can hear this one guy going Grand Noana, and nobody's doing it with him. Like he's trying to get a Grand Noana chant going, and nobody gives a fuck.
How do you chant that?
We have had so much fun with Grandpa Hamada's name, because I was just looking here about 5 episodes ago. The actual name of the episode is Billy Graham Hamada. So we've been having some fun with this guy's name.
Well, they ain't going nowhere.
I don't have any other a lot of other notes about the match. I just about another one of the guys. Great Sasuke. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that motherfucker is overrated.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where. Why? What do they say he is?
Well, I'm just saying that like this time, like he was. I think it was because of his mask or whatever, and the way he looked. But like you'd read about him in like magazines, and then like fucking smart people be like, "Oh, Great Sasuke, he's awesome." It's like, well, I watch him, and it's like, he's all right.
I thought everybody was just a mark for him because he invented the space flying dive or whatever driver. Like,
yeah, I just I was like, he's like not even close to being like the best dude in this match. Like, I'd rather watch Dick to Go or Terry Boy. I just thought Sasuke was like, it's a little overrated in my opinion.
Billy Graham Hamada. Fuck. Crazy Luke Graham Hamada.
Konnichiwa, brothers.
After that,
I lift barbell plate, eat Kobe steaks. I don't know if I made that joke already. But
you did, but it's still funny. Joey Styles tells us, because we're finally getting into
Taka, Dick, and Terry win, by the way.
Oh, you already said that earlier. You said Dick to Go pinned the guy.
I didn't think there was a finish. All right, I'm glad you said that because I didn't know there was a finish.
Namawawa. But yeah, Joey's telling us Tracy Smothers has now joined the FBI. They fucked over Chris Chetty. Tracy Smothers is now with Tommy Rich and Little Guido in the FBI, and I'm here for it because I love this. I love this FBI for sure.
Yeah. What kind of joke is Tracy Smothers joining the FBI? He's about as Italian as Tommy Rich. Because I was writing it down when Joey Styles said it, and I looked up, I was going, damn, that's his comparison to being Italian as Tommy Rich.
That sounds like Joey made a joke that we would make on this show. Paisans. We're paisans.
I hope we see it, but I think we're getting close to the "Shut Up Your Face" promo.
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
And Joey thinks "Shut Up Your Face."
Yeah, we ain't far from that shit.
We see a match. It's Tracy Smothers and Little Guido against Chris Chetty and Spike Dudley, but Taz comes out, pretty much lays everybody out that's involved in that match. He calls out Sabu, and we don't get Gangsta Sabu this week. He doesn't cut the potty mouth promo on Taz. But of course, and like Chad and I said last week,
it was like, "Don't make me pop the trunk, motherfucker."
And then Taz is like, "You can't be gangsta in hammer pants, all right?"
I'm rubbing the 5-9 and the Bombay Bicycle Club, motherfucker.
Mom spaghetti.
The mood's about to change, brother.
Yeah, Aaron, I told Chad last week. It was like because again you weren't here, so I couldn't tell you. But that moment when Sabu talked last week was like when Yokozuna talked to that in your house. Like
Yeah,
you're
wrong place.
you in the wrong
Wrong
place at the
time.
wrong time.
And we joked about it when we were kids. It's like, oh, look at Yoko. He's like a gangster. Then you get older and you're like, oh,
Oh, he was gangster.
really
All
was.
right.
Okay.
He was fucking Rodney. Okay. But yeah, once again, as is the story with these two guys, everybody else that has a rivalry in ECW can get in the ring with each other, whack each other around with chairs, hit each other with total eliminations, throw each other to tables, throw each other off the balcony, but we cannot let Taz and Sabu touch each other.
Yeah. And then once again, every time the back spills into the ring, you can't recognize anybody else that comes out, but somehow Axel Rotten always finds the camera. Like they're all ganging up on trying to break apart Sabu and Taz, and there's Axel in the middle of the ring spinning around doing the whole like what's going on thing.
Somehow he's bleeding.
Yeah, he finds that camera, dude. Got to give him credit for that shit.
And then I put down Taz cuts a weird promo.
It was too long and it was boring.
And it was weird. Like, I don't know. You know, we talk about sometimes things in wrestling like, you know, calling a guy daddy. I want to fight you, daddy. That's weird.
He said he wants to taste him.
Yeah, when he just kept saying, I can taste you. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of, is this a voicemail we're not supposed to be hearing? Like,
does that go up? Does that rank up there with one of the gayest things ever said was when Magnum TA told Tully Blanchard he's going to come on him like nobody's ever came on him before.
Yeah.
Is that one of the gayest things?
Tony Schiavone said that there was a Great American Bash or whatever where Glacier was fighting Mortis, and James Mitchell gets Glacier has Mortis down on the floor, and fucking James Mitchell gets him away from him by yelling at him, and Tony Schiavone goes, oh, he just got him off the man with his mouth. Like, whoa.
There you go.
Bro, he just got him off with his mouth.
We got to get Archie Mitchell to start a Twitter thing about the gayest thing said in wrestling. got him off with his mouth.
Yeah, fucking man, I'm gonna come on you like nobody's ever came before. It's like, whoa, buddy.
Tully Blanchard's like, all right, I'll pass. I don't need to.
I quit.
I quit.
Is that what he was trying to get Tully to say when he put the microphone in his face? Like,
and then Bob Caudle said, "That's weird, man."
That's weird, man. I don't like that. Jim Barnett was like, "I'll ref."
Oh yeah. Jim Barnett was get put in the shark cage with him.
Gordon Sully said, "It's a comes in mask."
It's a Pier 6-incher.
It's a Pier 69 bra.
Lance Russell just went. Oh, no.
And Corey just goes, "Oh, we got the king here." Like he's selling popcorn every week on USWA. Hey, everybody, get the king here.
A slobber cocker.
Have we got to the part of the show where I can finally say bye, Felicia?
Yes, we have.
we made it an hour. I think he dumped me while the show was going on. By the way,
we did a lot of.
We did a lot of nothing.
Yeah, we did a lot of nothing to get an hour out of thing. And again, it's not that it's bad. It's just that as you're getting the pay-per-view, they're running out of shit to do, so they're kind of.
This show was bad.
But I'm just saying they're also it's a bit repetitive because it's like those times where you have like too much time between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. You know, you get like 3 weeks out from WrestleMania and like, Jesus Christ, they've already cut this promo before. Jesus Christ, are we ever just going to get the fucking point here? You know, and that's kind of how this feels right now.
Yeah, when you're 3 weeks out from the WrestleMania and every show ends with everybody in the ring, it's a big brawl. And then the same thing with when they had the bunkhouse stampede. When somebody gets attacked and a brawl breaks out, then everybody has to get in the ring. They have to go off the air with everybody in the ring to make it look like it's what it looks like in a bunkhouse stampede. I mean, I don't think the show was that bad. It's just that they didn't really have anything to. They could have did the show in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they really could have. There wasn't. Well, I mean, besides the fucking Grandpa Hamada match, which I mean is the same match you're going to get out of these guys anyway. The only thing that was pretty much different was Axel and Funk, and they still cut that match up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I actually gave this episode, like last week's show, I gave a B. I thought last week's show was pretty good. I actually gave this show a C-.
Yeah, pretty much. You nailed that one. Yeah, I mean, I would have definitely watched it, and I wouldn't have said anything bad about it if I watched it in real time, like when it came. It's just going back 30-some years later watching it. Going, what the fuck?
Well, we're just a couple of weeks. Were you going to say something, Aaron?
I was just gonna say that it's like I don't know. To me the match the show was just kind of nothing happened. It served no purpose. I don't know. I don't want to be too hard on it, but I just like I said, I thought it was kind of a weak show, and like I said, the Japanese lucha match was okay, but it is what it is. Like you said, we're 2 weeks away from the pay-per-view.
So we still got 2 more weeks of this.
Well,
yeah,
good news
I wanted to look it up. We got April 1st and April 8th, and then obviously April 15th. It's just reliving moments from Barely Legal.
Well, we're not gonna do April 8th either. Next week we're gonna do April 1st, and then the week after we're gonna do the pay-per-view because the April 8th episode is just everything we've already seen leading up to the pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
So we got one more show to do, and then the show after that will be the pay-per-view.
All right, and then
Can't we just watch like an old WWF All Stars from like '81 or something, and like watch King Kong Master squashes?
And then Pat Patterson, like I brought the apples. They were good apples.
They were tough apples. They were
tough apples.
Hey, somebody made a Peaches reference. I think it was on this show. It was either on this show or AEW last night. I think somebody said that they were in the back eating peaches. It may have been AEW from last night, but I totally my ears perked up when I heard that.
Peaches.
I didn't think anybody talked about that but us.
Somebody listened to our show a year and a half ago. They're just now getting caught up. It was definitely a C- easily.
All right, guys. Well, if either of you have anything else, I think we're going to sign off for this week.
All right, good. Not good. The show's over. I gotta take a leak.
All right. Well, everybody out there listening, have a great week. Like I said, next week we'll cover the next episode of ECW Hardcore TV, and then the week after will be our Barely Legal pay-per-view episode where we will review the first ever ECW pay-per-view, which at the time was a pretty cool deal that they were getting pay-per-views. So, until then, we'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, gents.